Alright, it's been a little over a month since my last longer video, and I guess I'll open this one up by asking, how you guys doing? I know that 2025 has been a really chaotic year for a lot of people, so I know that I usually end my videos with a specific question tied to the video, but I'm going to do one here. Again, how you doing? Just let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. I know this year has been a pretty tough one for a lot of us. I can honestly say 2025 has been the worst year of my life. Especially recently. I mean, between losing my job and anxiety being kind of heightened as of late, it's been a time between trying to find a new job, keeping myself productive in other areas, and managing my anxiety, trying to be there for myself. It's been a period lately. Not trying to get too personal. I considered going down the anxiety med route, but I'm kind of starting to have some second thoughts, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I think I just wanted to check in, see how you guys were doing, because I know it's been a tough year for me. Anxiety, and especially social anxiety, have been bad. Anyone in my personal life watching this, I'm sorry. But I have calmed down enough that I can give you guys this video. Actually, I even had another longer video that I filmed a few weeks ago that I did on my favorite childhood TV shows, but I haven't gotten around to editing it because, again, life's been so crazy. So if you guys are interested in that video, then you can let me know in the comments and I'll try to get on editing it, but this is something I was really looking forward to, so let's just jump right into the video. Welcome back to I Want to Talk About, the series where I take a topic, I sit on camera, and I blabber about it. And as you could tell from the title, today I want to talk about the Nintendo Direct for September 2025. Finally, we have a proper mainline Nintendo Direct, the first one since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Across this year, since its release, we've gotten a partner showcase, an indie showcase, several single game showcases, but we haven't gotten a big one. But now we're here. Again, I figured we would. September is one of the months where they like to do a Nintendo Direct, and with so many games coming this holiday and not much news on what's coming next year, it seemed like the right time to do one. And again, of course, I was looking forward to it, and I was hoping for a Direct soon because I have been loving the Switch 2 thus far. I know that the number of first-party games hasn't been super high, but I've been loving what I've been playing on it, between replaying Switch 1 games that now play and look so much better than they did on Switch 1, and the new exclusives that we have gotten have been spectacular, so of course, I've been really excited and really happy with my Switch 2, but of course, with so many other games announced, I've been hoping for a Nintendo Direct, and here we are. And this one promised to be big, because where most Nintendo Directs are about 40 minutes, this one was promised to be an hour, which it was. And obviously, that's pretty huge. That's one of the longer Nintendo Directs that's not like a system reveal like the Switch 2 Direct back in April. Of course, a lot of rumors were saying, and a lot of speculation was saying, that the reason it was going to be so long is because not only was it going to be a standard Nintendo Direct, but that there was going to be some kind of celebration of the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Bros., which, as of the time of this recording, September 13th, I believe is today. Yep, sorry, just had to check. Today was the day that it came out in Japan 40 years ago. Sorry to those of you who just got some gray hairs as I said that. And yes, the Direct did double as both a Nintendo Direct and a Mario 40th Anniversary celebration, but before we get into that, I like to mention what my expectations were going in, and this one, as much as I was looking forward to a Nintendo Direct, I wasn't expecting the world, and I think it's just because compared to maybe some other Nintendo fans, I don't go into Directs hoping for them to announce certain games. Nintendo's done such a good job since the Switch, and they've given me so many games that I love, that I'm in the boat where I'm just like, I want them to surprise me. I want them to show me stuff that I'm going to be excited about that I didn't know I wanted. Because Nintendo has this very good innate ability to know what I want better than I know what I want when it comes to announcing first-party games. So I was just hoping to be entertained and be surprised, and yeah, I was. This wasn't like the best Direct I've ever seen, but it was a very good one. Obviously, I have my script here, I have my notes, so we're going to go over everything. I expect this video to be an hour long, just like the Direct itself was, but I'll try not to linger on things. Don't hold me to it. Now, to my surprise, because sometimes Nintendo likes to do the opposite of this, they actually started the Direct with the Super Mario Bros. 40th Anniversary section of the Direct, where we got to hear all the news about some stuff that's going to be happening with Mario over the next year. Of course, I love me some Mario, so I was looking forward to seeing what we were going to get. And a lot of miscellaneous stuff was what they kicked off with, mentioning that the Nintendo Museum in Japan is going to have like an art gallery with art based around the Super Mario Brothers series, so obviously that's great. For the next year, the admission ticket for the actual museum will be a Super Mario Brothers 40th design, so that's cute. There's going to be like a 40th anniversary light display there starting in December. Again, cute. They reiterated that the Super Nintendo World opened up in Orlando as part of Universal's new Epic Universe. I am not much of a traveler, and again, my social anxiety has been bad, but I would definitely like to check this out because it just looks like it's hella fun. And then they announced that they're going to be supporting the Kyoto Marathon next February, and that the race bib is going to be a Nintendo one, so again, cute. But then we started to actually get into the big stuff, the stuff to really be excited about, and the first thing that we got was not a game announcement, but a movie announcement. We got the proper announcement of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. This was a huge surprise to me because some of the early things that I was hearing about the Mario movie sequel was that it was going to be Super Mario World. There was like a news article that accidentally titled it Super Mario World, so obviously people ran with that. I did too. And without spoiling it, the post-credit scene made me think that we were going to be moving to Super Mario World, but nope. Looks like we're heading to Super Mario Galaxy next. Which I'm still excited about all the same, because as some of you may know, I hope you know, the first video that I ever did in this series I want to talk about was a video on the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I thought it was a great time. I had a lot of fun with it, so of course I was looking forward to seeing what else they were going to do within the Mario movie universe. And I mean, look, Mario has so many games that I consider 10 out of 10s. Obviously, Mario World is a favorite, so I would have been excited there, but Super Mario Galaxy is also just one of the most incredible games I've ever played, and I did just replay it recently through the 3D All-Stars collection, and it is still an absolute masterpiece, so yeah, of course I'm excited for a Mario Galaxy movie. Again, they didn't show much in the little teaser that they had. I didn't expect them to show too much, but I mean, enough to get me excited. And it's coming sooner than I expected. It's coming out this April, so definitely looking forward to that one. More than likely, and by more than likely I mean definitely, going to go to the theater to check that one out. But the movie was not the only Mario Galaxy goodness that we got during the show, because then we got the announcement of Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 being re-released on the Switch. I had been hearing some rumors that Mario Galaxy 2 was going to come back, but I thought it was just going to be like an add-on to the 3D All-Stars collection, but it turns out no, we are getting a fully new version of Mario Galaxy along with a new version of Mario Galaxy 2. It's cool that it's happening though, and I'm glad Galaxy 2 is finally getting the love. I did also hear that they're adding like an assist mode, which is fascinating and I think will be great for Galaxy 2 because Galaxy 2 did have some challenge to it, but what's that gonna mean for the perfect run? Like, apparently I'm hearing that the assist mode will let you like kind of bounce out of pits, like if you fall into a pit then you won't actually die, so will that still apply to the perfect run? I wonder. There is a physical edition that comes with both games, as you can kind of see here, but digitally you can purchase them individually, which is good because if I am going to partake in this, I don't know if I'm going to, but if I'm going to, I'm probably just going to grab Galaxy 2 by itself digitally. Rosalina's storybook is going to have some new pages as well, so that's cute, and they did show that the storybook is going to be available as a physical product, so that's pretty awesome, though it doesn't have the new pages in it, which kind of stinks. I forgot to mention also, given that we're going to be talking about games here, there were games here that were shown for the Switch 1, games that were shown for the Switch 2, and games that were shown for both, so as I discuss these games, I will mention if they are Switch 1 only, Switch 2 only, or if they're cross-gen. Of course, if they're Switch 1 only, you can safely assume they'll be backward compatible on Switch 2. Either way, Super Mario Galaxy 1 plus 2 is going to be coming October 2nd as a Switch 1 game, and there are going to be some Super Mario Galaxy amiibos of Mario and Rosalina coming out on April 2nd of next year, probably as a tie-in to the new movie, so that's fun. Again, don't know if I'm going to be grabbing either of these, but if I do, it'll probably just be Galaxy 2 digitally. Then we got a look at Mario Tennis Fever. At first, I actually got kind of mad when this was shown because I thought I was looking at a new Mario baseball game, but nope. Another tennis game. We've gotten like 4 Mario tennis games since the last Mario baseball game. What the fuck? I mean, I know, I heard the last one was good, I just didn't play it because baseball. All joking rants aside, I do think this game looks very good. It has a lot of personality, which is great, and given that some of the Switch Mario sports games were heavily lacking in content, it feels like they kind of listen with this one because this one is packing a lot. 38 playable characters, which is actually the most in franchise history. That alone is very refreshing to hear, especially after, again, how like some of the Switch Mario sports games would have like really small rosters, but then they'd be like, we're gonna add free DLC later, as a way to kind of make it seem like they're putting more content in, but really it was just stuff that was meant to be there from the beginning. And the new story mode does look really cool too. Maybe not my most anticipated game, but this looks like it could be pretty damn fun, and it's coming out February 12th as a Switch 2 exclusive, so definitely gonna be looking forward to trying this one out. Again, I don't know if I'll grab it right away, but it could be something I look into to help grow the old Switch 2 library. Again, it's only going to be Switch 2, not Switch 1, so there's one. Then we got something I had been hearing some whispers about for a while, the proper confirmation of Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bellabel Park. I'm glad this is happening because I love Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I think it's such a creative and fun game. Super fantastic. I'm obviously happy to have more of it, especially because I had been getting the itch to replay the game recently, so this will be a good excuse to do that. The Bellabel Park section of the game does look like it's mostly multiplayer type stuff, though the multiplayer games here do look very chaotic and fun. I played through all of Wonder with my brother in multiplayer, and obviously there was enough chaos there for the both of us, so having a bunch of extra stuff to do in multiplayer will probably be even crazier. Apparently there is some other bonus content on the way. I think they said there's like a side story involving Captain Toad, so that's cool. But they didn't really talk much about it, so I expect a future single game direct dedicated to this one. If not a direct, then at least like an overview video. But it's coming out next spring, and they're also releasing like physical talking flowers next spring, so that's pretty cute. This one is going to be on my radar because I love Mario Wonder as it is, so I will be interested to see what else they bring to the table with this new one. And the last part of the Mario specific section of the direct was another big surprise, the announcement of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. The whole time this was shown, my entire mindset was, oh my god, it's Yoshi's Story 2! It's Yoshi's Story 2! Like, I just kind of kept calling it that because a Yoshi game, a new Yoshi game rather, centered around a storybook, that's Yoshi's Story 2. It pretty much writes itself. But it does look really fun. Again, I don't think that the Yoshi games are like the best Nintendo platformers on the planet. I thought Woolly World was pretty good, and Crafted World was okay. Even Yoshi's Story itself, I think, is just kind of like pretty good, not like incredible. But again, they're enjoyable games, and this one does have an absolutely adorable aesthetic. I think it's super duper painterly, which is great. Again, it really fits the whole storybook aesthetic. And again, even if they're not incredible, Yoshi games are usually a pretty fun time, so I'll be looking forward to this one. It's coming out next spring, specifically on the Switch 2, so this will be a good game to add to the Switch 2 library. I'm sure we'll get like a single game direct on it too, so definitely looking forward to seeing more of this one. Now, on to the main Nintendo Direct outside of Mario. The first thing that we got to see there was a game called Stormlancers. New, I believe, debut game from developer Probably Monsters. It's an 80s anime-inspired 2D side-scrolling roguelike that you can play in like solo or co-op. It does look very similar to a fair few 2D side-scrollers and roguelikes that I've seen and played, but I think it looks fun, and I think the sense of style and its aesthetic does give it a little bit of a leg up, as does the co-op gameplay. Might not be one that I play, but it looks pretty cool, and it did release immediately after the show on the Switch 1, so that's something you can grab if you have a Switch 1 or a Switch 2, and I hope if you grabbed it that you are having a good time with it. After that, we got to look at Dinkum, the Switch release of a game from a single developer known as James Bendon, and it's published by Krafton. Super cool that this game was made by just one person, and the general reception I've heard so far is that it's pretty good, but as far as my own take, it's a farming sim. You see more than a few of these at Nintendo Directs now and in the past. This one didn't really move the needle for me in any way. But cool that it's coming to a new system, growing its player base, and it's coming November 5th, again, as a Switch 1 game, so it's going to be compatible with both. There is a demo available, and this one is actually a timed console exclusive on the Switch, so again, if you were looking forward to playing it, and now you want to get it on a console, Switch is your way to go. Up next, we saw Popucom, the Switch release of a game from Griffline. It's got a cute design, and the Steam reviews are pretty positive, but honestly, yeah, this game is We Have Splatoon at Home. Which, hey, I guess I'm glad that someone else is trying to make a Splatoon-type game other than Nintendo, but all this made me think of is, where is that Splatoon Raiders game that Nintendo announced at like 8 a.m. on a random Tuesday through the Nintendo Today app? Yeah, we didn't see that here, so hoping we get to see that soon. Either way, Popucom is coming this holiday to the Switch 1, so, I mean, even though I think it looks like Splatoon at Home, maybe that's enough for you guys, and maybe it ends up being a fun time. On the first-party front, we then got another look at Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Now, again, I talked about this back in my video on the Nintendo Direct that happened in March. And my thoughts are no different here than they were back then. I don't really play simulators like this very much, so this is one I'm going to leave for everyone else to enjoy. I'm glad it's back because it's been gone for so long, and again, when it returned, the internet absolutely erupted in joy. So again, it's pretty awesome to see it come along, and it looks like it will be fun for people who are into this kind of game. Once more, I'll say though, I really hope they actually listen to what the fans were saying when the last game came out, and they actually don't totally ignore same-sex relationships again. It's 2025. It's not weird, guys. But the game's going to be coming out in the spring, so again, we have some more time to see more of it. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does a dedicated direct to this specifically, even if it is a Switch 1 game. Couple fun third-party ones up next. We got another look at the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which I talked about back in June in my video on the State of Play that happened then. I don't know if it had been previously confirmed for a release on either Nintendo system, but if it wasn't before, well, now it is. Honestly, I thought this was out already, but I guess it's not, obviously. Either way, I was excited for this when I heard about it at the State of Play, and I'm still pretty excited about it. As I've said, Digital Eclipse is really damn good when it comes to game preservation. I recently have been playing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection on my Switch, and they handled it really well, even though a lot of the games in that collection I think kind of stink. But they're really going ham with the sheer amount of games and content being added here, even on the extra content scale. It's pretty awesome. My Mortal Kombat experience, again, is largely the new school stuff, so I definitely would be interested in seeing where it all began with the old stuff. It's going to be coming out October 30th digitally, December 12th physically, and it's a cross-gen game, so whether you have a Switch 1 or Switch 2, you will be able to jump on this one. I don't know if I'm going to grab it or if I'm going to grab it on Switch 2, but it's definitely one I'm keeping my eye on. Then a big one, we got to take another look at Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Obviously, we've known about this one because it was revealed at the Switch 2 Direct back in April, but it's great to see it pop back up. I don't have to dive too deep into it, but the fact that this is coming to a Nintendo platform is obviously incredible. FF7 Remake is a fantastic game, and from everything that I've seen and heard about it from like early impressions, it looks like it plays very capably on the Switch 2, which is amazing. This is a powerful game, and I couldn't have imagined it running pretty well on the first Switch, so I'm glad to hear that it's doing well on the Switch 2 and that the Switch 2 is powerful enough to handle it. Gives me some faith that maybe things like Kingdom Hearts are going to get native Switch 2 versions as opposed to that cloud version crap that was on the Switch 1. And once again, during the show, the narrator mentioned it being the first game in the FF7 Remake trilogy, so it once again really sounds like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Blower will also be coming to the Switch 2, which is great. This one's coming January 22nd, obviously Switch 2 only, not going to be coming to the Switch 1. And while I don't think I'll be grabbing it on Switch 2 because I'm more than happy with my PS5 version of it, I'm very happy that Nintendo fans will get to experience this game because it is absolutely incredible and you absolutely should play it. And I can't wait for Nintendo fans to get Rebirth either because I actually liked Rebirth even better. Both games are tremendous. From there, we got a look at Linked Banner of the Spark, the Switch 2 release of a game from publisher Dreamhaven. It's an action roguelite with a very colorful aesthetic, and look, anything following FF7 Remake in a direct or any kind of showcase is gonna feel puny by comparison, so this kinda did, but it still looks decent. If nothing else, you can catch fish and plant crops in it, so it does fill Nintendo's farming sim quota at least a little bit. It also has online co-op, which seems interesting, but I just don't imagine this being a game I go out of my way to play, especially given that the roguelike and roguelite market is already so packed and will get to that in just a minute. Probably not even, it'll honestly be like a few seconds, time me. But this did launch right after the show as a cross-gen game, so I hope you guys are looking forward to it, and I hope you guys have tried it out and are enjoying it yourselves. Like I said, we'd get to another roguelite or roguelike, and this is one that I am more excited about. Hades 2. Finally. I know Hades 2 has been in early access for a pretty long time now, but I only have a Mac, I don't have a PC, so I haven't gotten to play it during its early access period. I've been waiting patiently for its proper console release, the version 1.0 release, and now it's finally coming along, which I'm really happy about. Obviously, the game looks great. Hades 1 was a masterpiece, and everything I've been hearing about Hades 2 has made it sound like it is just as fantastic, which is awesome news. I'm very happy to hear it, only making me even more excited to actually play it myself. It's also apparently going to be playable at 120 frames per second on Switch 2, which is crazy, though I probably won't be able to experience that myself because it's only 120 frames per second docked, and I don't have a TV that's capable of 120 frames per second, so I won't get to see that myself. Doesn't matter to me. I'm still damn excited to finally play it. And very soon too, because it's coming out September 25th digitally, November 20th physically. It's going to be a cross-gen game, so you can get it on Switch 1 if you don't have a Switch 2 yet. And it's apparently a timed Nintendo exclusive, which I guess isn't really that surprising because I think the first one was, at least as far as console releases go. And this is one of the few third-party games I'm definitely going to pick up on the Switch 2 because I played the first Hades when it came to Game Pass, but I don't want to have to wait potentially a year for it to come to Xbox and then maybe hope that it comes to Game Pass. This one I'm just going to pick up as soon as it comes out on Switch 2. I'm too excited to play it, and I'm very happy that we're getting it so soon. I'm happy you Hollow Knight fans finally got Silksong. Now it's my turn with Hades 2. Back on the first party front, we got some news regarding Kirby Air Riders. Not much in terms of gameplay, because obviously we just got a Nintendo Direct for that game, which was basically a Mr. Sakurai Presents masquerading as a Direct, but that's okay, because I could listen to Sakurai talk about grass growing. He'd probably find some way to make it charming and funny. Really, this was just the confirmation that the game is getting some amiibo figures of Kirby with his Warp Star and Bandana Waddle Dee with his Wing Star, and the amiibo characters are detachable from the vehicles and you can place them on the other vehicles. Close enough. Welcome back, Skylander Superchargers. And they basically function as the amiibos did in Smash Brothers, where you can basically train them. Shocker that one of his games plays like another one of his games. The amiibos are coming November 20th, which is also the day that the game launches, only on Switch 2, of course. They also mentioned that more amiibo are coming in the future, and that there's going to be another Direct dedicated to the game coming soon. Which, again, I don't think I needed another one after the first one. The first one was pretty substantial, but, again, Sakurai could talk to me about the process of paint drying and I would still find it pretty entertaining. And again, I'm looking forward to the game. It does look very good. And continuing on the first party front, we then got another look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We just saw this game at the recent partner showcase, so I didn't feel like I needed more of it personally. But again, I'm glad I got to see more because it does look very good. It's cool to see some of the combination elements of Tears of the Kingdom come into play here in the actual gameplay itself. And again, it'll be nice to have a Hyrule Warriors game that hopefully will perform well because the Switch 2 is capable enough to handle it. I've mentioned it before, but the previous two games definitely had some performance issues, so it's nice that this one will hopefully not have that. Again, there's not much more I could say about it that I haven't already because I've talked about it in a couple videos, but I'm very much looking forward to it, and we finally got a date. It's coming November 6th, again, of course, Switch 2 only, and wow, Kirby Air Riders and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment in the same month. That's going to be a pretty fun one. Next, an announcement they put a lot of hype into, and one that I'm sure was hyped to a lot of other people. We got the announcement of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I don't know anything about Dragon Quest, so I don't know how hyped this is to people who are more into the series, but if nothing else, I think the character models in this trailer looked absolutely adorable. They're also expressive, and a lot of times I always say, like, it looks cute when I'm talking about a game that doesn't really look that interesting to me. But this time, I really mean it genuinely. The visual design of this game does just look really cute. I especially like the hero's design, especially with his little green hat. It's so adorable. Again, as far as the game itself, I'm not too into turn-based games, so this is probably not something that I'm gonna play. But if the Dragon Quest fans are excited for it, then that's good enough for me. And at least from what I've seen, it seems like they are, so good news. And it's coming fairly soon, February 5th, and it's going to be a cross-gen game, so Switch 1 and Switch 2 players will get to play it, and if you're an RPG fan, I hope you're looking forward to it. Then we got a tiny little reminder about the Nintendo Today app, just kind of announcing that they're adding a Kirby theme, and they're going to offer some Kirby Air Riders updates now, so of course that's cute. For me, with the Nintendo Today app, I usually just set the theme to random, so as you can see, it's Zelda today. I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, there's Ganon. And then we got one of the most shocking announcements of the entire show to me. The announcement of Virtual Boy games coming to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. I can't even lie when I tell you that once the Virtual Boy showed up on the screen, I laughed so hard that I thought I sounded like Arthur Fleck. By the way, finally watched Joker Folie à Deux recently. What the hell happened there? But anyway, yeah, I never thought Nintendo would make any effort to preserve Virtual Boy games. I thought they would want to forget it existed, but here we are. And from my research, there's about 14 games coming to the service, at least here in America, which includes 12 of the 14 games that were originally released here in North America on the Virtual Boy, the only exceptions being Panic Bomber and Virtual League Baseball. And some of the Japan-only games are going to be coming to the service too, so from a preservation standpoint, that's pretty awesome. Nintendo's also selling a, Virtual Boy accessory that you can put your Switch into and you're going to need it to play the games, though they are selling, a cardboard version of it that's more affordable, which kind of makes sense because the prices on this thing are, oof. It's $100 for the actual Virtual Boy itself. Yep. I don't need to rant more than others already have about Nintendo's prices, but yeah, $25 for the cardboard thing, $100 for the actual Virtual Boy itself. Pretty decent penny here. But yeah, I don't use Switch Online or the expansion pack, so I probably won't play these. But again, from a preservation perspective, it's pretty cool. And it's coming February 17th, and unlike the GameCube part of the expansion pack, the Virtual Boy games will be playable on Switch 1 and Switch 2, so good news there. After that, we got a look at Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. I honestly thought this had been announced already, but then again, I think it's probably just the fact that we've gotten a pretty decent amount of Fatal Frame as of late, and as someone who doesn't play the series, I don't pay much attention to what games are new and what ones are remakes and all that stuff. Either way, I'm glad to see the franchise continue to get new releases because as a horror franchise, it does seem pretty interesting. Again, I haven't played any of the games, but I've thought about jumping into at least a few of them. If you guys have any you'd recommend, I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. And the original version of Fatal Frame 2, which came out in I think 2003, so pretty long time ago, seemed to be a pretty well-liked entry. So while I'm not sure what the fan reaction to the remake has been, I'm glad to know it's a thing, and I hope the fans are excited for it. And it's coming early next year. It's going to be only on Switch 2, not Switch 1, but either way, looks pretty fun. Maybe I'll jump into the Fatal Frame series at some point soon. Then we got a bevy of Switch 2 editions of games. Since there's nothing I'm too interested in, I'm just going to blow through them and tell you guys when they're coming out. So, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is getting a Switch 2 edition this fall. Overcooked 2 is getting a Switch 2 edition this holiday. Stardew Valley is getting a Switch 2 edition this fall, and Human Fall Flat is getting a Switch 2 edition in the spring. So there you have it. Hopefully those are more exciting to you guys than they are to me. I'm sure that Stardew Valley one is going to be exciting to a lot of you guys. What I'm more excited about is the next thing that they showed, and I promise I'm being unironic when I say this. In fact, I'm being very unironic. I'm super hyped for this. PowerWash Simulator 2. Hell yeah. You guys know that I love me some PowerWash Simulator. I've beaten the main campaign on Xbox and on PlayStation, and I've even gotten all of the DLC on the Xbox version. Combined, I've probably put about 300 plus hours into PowerWash Simulator as a whole because it's just so fun and relaxing and zen-like. So while I've been totally fine just getting DLCs for PowerWash 1, I'm definitely pumped to get a brand new one. Again, I didn't know I wanted a sequel, but I'm glad I'm getting it, and a lot of the new features they're adding do seem pretty fun. The fact that you have a home base now seems pretty cool. I like a lot of the new power washers. The surface cleaner looks really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the new soap mechanics work out, because apparently there are some new ones, so I'm excited to see how that makes a difference in the cleaning this time around. And there's also local split-screen co-op, and there's going to be 4-player online co-op, so anyone wants to play. I'm probably not going to grab it on the Switch 2 because it's coming to Xbox Game Pass Day 1. I'm still going to buy the game regardless just to own it, but I'm glad I have a few options either way. Still no proper date. All they said is fall, and I really hope it's soon because I really want it. And it is coming specifically just to Switch 2, not Switch 1, so this is going to be a fun one if you have a Switch 2, and as someone who really loved PowerWash 1, go play that. And hopefully this game is just as good, if not better. Next up, one I didn't expect to enjoy or be as excited about as I was, Suika Game Planet. I believe I talked about Suika Game in my video on the partner showcase from last February because they announced like a multiplayer DLC for it. But I didn't know what it was then. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I just know that it's kind of become like a viral sensation of some kind among streamers, but I don't really keep up with what streamers do, so I wouldn't have known. But it seemed to be pretty popular and well-liked, and I also enjoy me a good puzzle game, so that's fun. And this appears to be a sequel, and after watching the gameplay of it, honestly, you might want to keep me away from this because it's the kind of game that I could get very addicted to. Again, I love me a good puzzle game, and this one looks like it's simple but also has a little bit of a challenging curve to it. And yeah, it just looks really fun. Maybe I'll jump on the Suika train at one point because I've gotten addicted to enough games as it is. What's one more? It's coming this winter and it's going to be a cross-gen game, so that's going to be a really fun one. Then we got the big boy. This was the one that I was really looking forward to seeing going into the show, especially getting a release date for it. We got another look at Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Fuck yeah. Obviously, in the many times I've seen it so far, the game has looked great, but now it seems like Retro isn't holding its hand all the way to its chest with this one because we're seeing now that Samus rides a motorcycle in what looks like a more open-ended game. And God, does it look awesome. This is probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. The wait's been so long, but the game is just looking absolutely phenomenal. Seeing so much of what's made the Prime game so special up to this point in this trailer was absolutely awesome. Psylocke's popping up at the end. That dude's the biggest hater next to Kendrick Lamar. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited. I have a feeling this is gonna be some kind of special when it comes out. And again, we finally got a date, December 4th. Again, it's cross-gen, we know that, but yeah, December 4th. Honestly, I don't even care if it's not going to be eligible for the Game Awards this year. It's probably going to be pretty close to my Game of the Year. They also confirmed a couple extra things that sound kind of fun. A Metroid Prime 1 through 3 visual retrospective book on October 28th. I don't usually buy art books, but if there's one that I get, it would probably be this one. And a trio of amiibos. There's a Samus amiibo, an amiibo of Samus with her Viola, the motorcycle, which are both coming out November 6th. And a Sylux amiibo on launch day. So if you want a little replica of the biggest hater, here you go. Then we got one of the things that I was excited about until I was buzzkilled by it, Donkey Kong Bonanza DK Island and Emerald Rush DLC. Now when this showed up, I was hyped. But as I started to hear more about it and notice more about it, my excitement kind of dissipated. Look, Donkey Kong Bonanza is my current game of the year, and it's genuinely like one of my top 10, maybe top 5 favorite video games of all time. I think it's an absolute masterpiece and a truly beautiful game, so on paper, I was more than excited to see it get new content. And when I saw that it was set on DK Island, I thought that was brilliant, and it was awesome to see DK Island come back here. But after looking a little bit deeper into what's being offered here, I'm not nearly as convinced. The Emerald Rush mode seems pretty fun, as a little bit of a time rush kind of thing, but otherwise, the actual DK Island itself doesn't really have any new, like, Banandium gems or fossils to collect. And it's a $20 paid DLC, so yeah, it's basically $20 for a time trial. Yeah, not really singing to me. It's kind of like that Mario Odyssey Luigi's Balloon Adventure DLC, except that wasn't $20, so I don't know. Obviously, it doesn't change my opinion on Bonanza as a game, because Bonanza is one of the most incredible things that I've ever played, and I already want to replay it. But yeah, pretty disappointing as far as new content is concerned. It did release right after the show, obviously Switch 2 only. The base game is only on Switch 2. So if you picked it up, I mean, you can let me know in the comments how it is, and if I made the right move saving my money on it. From what I've heard, though, I think I did. Bunch of Pokemon stuff after that. First off, a bit of a surprise. Pokemon Pokopia? Okay, so I know Pokemon spin-offs are obviously super weird, and this one is definitely no exception. It's a Pokemon life simulation game where you play as a Ditto who turns itself into a human and builds its own little world. I mean, I would have settled for a Poke Park re-release. I mean, for what it is, it looks pretty cute, but again, I don't really play a lot of simulation games like this, so I'll probably pass. With that said, given how popular simulation games are and the fact that it's Pokemon, this is probably going to do some huge numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that actually manages to push a lot of Switch 2s off of shelves. But it's going to take a minute. They didn't confirm a date, just that it's coming out next year, and it is a Switch 2 only game, of course, so we'll have to wait a little bit for that one. But while we wait, of course, we're going to get Pokemon Legends Z-A, which we got another look at. Again, it's been shown a lot over the past few Nintendo Directs, so it's not like they needed to do more to sell me on it. I loved Legends Arceus, and obviously this one looks great, and it looks like it actually runs well, unlike what Scarlet and Violet did when they launched on Switch 1. Though both do play a lot better on Switch 2 now, and I'm very happy about it. Either way, it looks like these will actually run well at launch, and they did show off that the starters have new Mega Evolutions now, which is cool, but as someone who's not like that hardcore into Pokemon, I kind of figure others will be more excited about that than I am. I'm just excited to play the game itself. It's coming October 16th. Of course, it's cross-gen. I'm going to be grabbing this on the Switch 2, and I can't wait to play it. And then we got one last Pokemon announcement, Pokemon Legends Z-A Mega Dimension. Announcing a paid DLC for a game that's not out yet is such a Pokemon move. Again, there was nothing shown of it, just the fact that there's going to be Mega Raichu X and Y, which, again, as a non-Pokemon hardcore, that flew all the way over my head. I'm sure it's hyped to someone, but for me it's like, okay. As far as the new content, there's some Holo X and Holo Y apparel items that are going to be available on launch day, and the extra story content, they don't have a release date for yet, so I'm just going to have to wait for that. Which I'm sure you're willing to, because the game itself isn't even out yet, so let's wait for the game to release to start anticipating the DLC, please. Kinda nearing the last few parts of the show, the next announcement was Danganronpa 2x2, or 2x2. I don't know, whatever one you think it is. Or they probably said it in the direct, but I just forgot. When I was in college back at University of the Arts, RIP, my school's games club had a lot of people who were super hardcore into Danganronpa, and it was always a running joke because I was the one person who understood nothing of the series and really wasn't that interested in it. So when like Danganronpa Decadence came out in like 2021, I had people telling me I had no excuse not to play the game and whatnot, which I did thanks to Game Pass, but I just wasn't really that interested. So I can imagine those people are screaming, crying, and throwing up at this announcement. Me? I barely made anything of it because these kinds of games just aren't really my thing, so it's another announcement that I'll just leave for those that are more interested in it. Though it's cool that it has a new story alongside the main game, though. It's coming 2026 as a cross-gen game, and again, I know this franchise is very popular, so I'm sure people are pretty excited for it. Then we got the announcement of Dynasty Warriors Origins coming to Switch 2. This was an exciting third-party edition. I never got to play Dynasty Warriors Origins, but I remember thinking that it looked very good, and I heard good things about it overall, so it's cool to see that it's coming over to the Switch 2. And from the gameplay they showed, again, it looks like it's going to perform well, which is a good thing considering the sheer amount of stuff going on when you're playing a Dynasty Warriors game. I mentioned that with Hyrule Warriors, and of course the same applies for the series that it's spinning off. I don't know if the Switch version is going to be the thing that gets me to pick up the game, but I'm glad it's coming over to the system nonetheless. And it's pretty nice that the paid DLC is going to be here too. It's coming January 22nd, and of course it's going to be Switch 2 only because can you imagine the first Switch running a game like this? I think it might implode. It already struggles with Hyrule Warriors. I can't imagine it running Dynasty Warriors much better. But yeah, very cool announcement. From there, we got the announcement of Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. I can't lie, I know that Monster Hunter is super popular, but it's a series I've tried to get into multiple times and have just never been able to get into. Plus, while I know the Monster Hunter Stories games are good in their own right, when this trailer started, while I knew it was Monster Hunter, I thought it was going to be the announcement of like Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter Wilds coming to the Switch 2, which in my mind I think would have been a lot more hype. I mean, the game looks good for what it is, but it's not really going to change my mind on the Monster Hunter series. I'm just going to leave this one to the people that are more interested. It's coming March 13th though, and it's going to be a Switch 2 only game, so that ought to be an exciting one to get on your Switch 2 when it comes out this spring. Then we got a sizzle reel. I'm going to blow through these games and just say like what system they're coming to and when they're coming out. Only going to give any kind of light comments if it's a game that I feel deserves any, or that I feel like I can give any light comments to. So just blowing through what was shown during the sizzle reel. 2 Point Museum is coming October 28th to Switch 2. Disgaea 7 Complete is coming October 10th to Switch 2. EA Sports FC 26 September 26th as a cross-gen game. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake October 30th as a cross-gen game. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage this winter for Switch 2. LEGO Voyagers September 15th on the Switch 1. By the time this video is out, the game will be out, but it looks pretty fun. Little Nightmares 3 October 10th as a cross-gen game, and Persona 3 Reload on October 23rd as a Switch 2 game, which I know is a very exciting one. I was much more excited for the last third-party announcement of the show, Resident Evil Requiem coming to Switch 2. I haven't really gotten to talk about Resident Evil Requiem in a video before, but obviously I'm super excited for it. Resident Evil's been on a really fantastic run since Resident Evil 7 back in 2017, and this one looks like it's going to be great. Returning to Raccoon City 30 years after it was destroyed is honestly fascinating to me, as is the fact that the game stars Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak. Pretty cool that they're pulling from that game. Granted, I never played Outbreak. And yes, I have heard the rumors and theories that you will play as Leon at some point in the game. I'm also interested in the fact that the game will let you pick between first or third person. I know they added third person to Village, but that was a game that was like built for first person that eventually got a third person mode. So given that this game seems like it's going to have both options from the start, I'm curious what'll be better. Here's another question of the video like I like to do. Will you be playing Resident Evil Requiem in first or third person? I haven't decided yet, so I'd like to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Either way, the game looks super scary and super awesome, and of course it's great that it's going to be coming to the Switch 2 day and date. The game launches February 27th across all platforms, and again, that applies to Switch 2. It's not going to Switch 1, of course. So it's great to have a day and date third-party Switch 2 game as big as this one. And they also confirmed that Resident Evil 7 and 8, Biohazard and Village, are also going to be coming to Switch 2 on that same day, which is great. I'm glad that we're going to be able to have Switch versions of these games that are not cloud versions, thank whoever you worship. And I hope this means that the RE2, 3, and 4 remakes will be coming to Switch 2 at some point as well. But of course, Nintendo had to close on a first-party note, which they did, and they ended the show with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. As a non-Fire Emblem guy, a new Fire Emblem game closing out a Direct wasn't really gonna be a thing that made me like fall off my couch in excitement, but again, I understand why they chose it to close out the show. Even with the series kind of seeming oversaturated because of the fact that it has so many characters in Smash Brothers, Fire Emblem is a huge IP for Nintendo and it's become a major success for them. So it's understandable that they would push it in this way alongside some of the big boys. Essentially, it is one of their big boys at this point. I think they've even confirmed that. It's just that this was never going to be my kind of game because it's not a genre I really play much on my own. And looking at the gameplay, it sure looks like a Fire Emblem game. So as someone who never really got into the series, there's not much going on here that's really changing my mind or making me think, oh, this has to be my first Fire Emblem game. But of course, I'm excited for the fans. I know how popular the series is, and I know they're going to be pretty excited for it. No release date, but it's coming next year, obviously as a Switch 2 exclusive, and I'm sure that's going to be a really big one next year. So overall, I think this was a good Direct. I don't think it was the most hype one I've ever seen, and some of the new announcements didn't have me like screaming my head off. But again, like I said, when it comes to Nintendo, I'm at a point where I'm not really like begging for them to give me anything specific in terms of new games. I just want to see what they're capable of and what kind of surprises they have up their sleeves. Going into the show, most of what I really wanted was a clear picture of what the rest of the year would look like for first-party games, which I got because we got proper release dates for everything, and hopefully a few games to look forward to next year, which I got because there are definitely a few that I'm keeping my eye on. So since Nintendo delivered that, I was satisfied. It wasn't mind-meltingly incredible, but it was a steady show. Nothing really looked too bad, and there were more than enough games for me to be excited about across the board. Third-party support looks like it's still going to be great, and with the fact that Pokemon Legends Z-A, Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Riders, and Metroid Prime 4 are all in place for the rest of the year and have proper release dates, I'm satisfied and excited for how the rest of 2025 is going to look for the Switch 2. If I had to give the show a grade, I would probably give it like a B, like a flat B, not a plus or a minus, just a B. Again, it was a good show. I didn't absolutely like scream my head off in anticipation the whole time, but there were a few announcements that definitely I was interested in, and like I said, the rest of the year looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for the Switch 2. So I got what I wanted out of it, which is to say, I didn't want a crap ton, but I got what I hoped for out of the Nintendo Direct. But that's just my opinion on the Direct. What did you guys think about it? Did you love it even more than I did? Did you hate it way more than I did? Are you just completely indifferent toward it? What were your favorite games of the show? And I guess for the big question of the video, since I always like to do this, what is the first-party Nintendo franchise that hasn't been announced for the Switch 2 yet that you're most looking forward to seeing on the Switch 2? I have a feeling I'm going to hear a few 3D Marios, but what do you guys think? Whatever your thoughts and opinions are, leave them down in the comments below. Let's keep this civil and have some fun as we like to do. If you guys want to hit like and subscribe and support some of my other ventures that I have linked in the description, thank you. If not, it's no big deal. I totally understand. And yeah, like I said, I did a video where I talked about my favorite childhood shows, and I'll probably get on editing that soon, especially if you guys are looking forward to it as well. Again, I've been doing plenty of shorter reviews, especially now that I've been doing movie and video game reviews in the short form style alongside album reviews, so there's definitely going to be more content out of me. As far as long-form content, it's probably just going to be when I feel like it, or if I'm inspired, or if there's a new gaming showcase that comes along like this one. I don't know, I've just been kind of enjoying making the shorter-form content lately. I know some of you guys prefer the longer content, but I think for me as a creator, it's just more convenient and easy and fun to make the shorter-form content. So I'm not going to stop doing longer videos, of course, but again, they'll probably just be more like once in a blue moon or once when I feel inspired. Granted, of course, my 10 years later video, my albums I didn't review video, and my favorite games video at the end of the year are still going to be happening as normal, so you'll still get some long-form content out of me in the future. It's just that there's going to be a lot more short-form stuff, but I hope you're looking forward to it all the same. So stay tuned for that, but until next time, I've been recording for over an hour at this point. I need to go eat dinner, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.